that the Rebbe said in that year of Chavdalid, and as we explained, every year the Rebbe would take a different ois from the Frierdiker Rebbe's Basi Ligani, comprised of 20 oises, and he would expound on that ois. This year, if you're repeating the 20-year cycle, so the years, it's Tavshin Chavdalid and Tavshin Mem Dalid. Now, as we explained in the previous year of Tzidkas Prezene, Ois Dalid. So this year would correspond to the 14th Ois. Now, the Rebbe said that Shabbos, the Rebbe said 3 Mamorim. Friday night he said a Maamar, Basi Ligani. Shabbos by day he said the Maamar of Tzidkas Prezene, and then Matzah Shabbos he said Basi Ligani. Now, the first Basi Ligani Friday night, they don't have any transcripts. Shabbos by day, Tzidkas Prezene, it's vague. It's very, it's not barichas. And then Chavdalid, which we're going to learn now, that's the Rebbe said Matzah Shabbos, and the Rebbe added a lot of Hisofis and Shinuyim from what he said between the first and second Maamar. Now, you're going to see in the pamphlets, you'll see the actual text, and then you'll see like big ha'aras. We'll see in a minute what I mean. And then obviously there's the ha'aras that the Vadanochas Lahak made. Now, the ha'aras, the big ha'aras, the Aleph base, not the small footnotes, that's the Shinuyim, the differences that the Rebbe said between the first and the second Maamar, so Hisofis, so we'll see in addition. Now, of course, this Maamar is built in Muga, it was not checked over by the Rebbe, but this is the way that the Vadanochas and the Chayzim understood the Maamar. Okay, so now, the way that the Rebbe always structures the Maamarim is that in the beginning he makes a recap of what the Frierdiker Rebbe said in his Maamar, and then in Ois Gimel he's going to explain, or Ois Gimel Daled, he's going to explain that year's Ois Daled, what the Diukim are. So now we're going to just do a recap to get up to Ois Daled, and then the Rebbe is going to focus on Ois Daled. And before we get to Ois Gimel, we're going to learn Ois Daled from the Frierdiker Rebbe to understand exactly what the Frierdiker Rebbe is saying and appreciate the Rebbe's insight. Basi Ligani Achesikala, Shlomo Melech writes in Shir Hashirim, Basi Ligani, Hashem says, I came to my garden, Achesikala, my sister, my bride. Mevar Baal Ha'ilula Behemshech, Shenosan Liyem Ha'ilula, and the Frierdiker Rebbe explains, continuation, that he gave out on the day of the Yom Ha'ilula, the Isa b'Medrash, the Medrash says, Ligani Lignuni. Now, it should have said, Basi Ligan, I came to my garden. What does it mean, Ligani, to my garden? So he says, Lignuni. What does Lignuni mean? Lemakim shahaya ikri betchila. To the place that the Eibishter was in the beginning. Di'ikar shchina b'tachtenu meisa. As we know, in the beginning, the main shchina was down in this world. The betchila, koydem achet hoysa shchina lamata. So before the actual sin of the Eitz Hadas, the shchina was down over here, Began Eden and Gan Eden. And then what happened? So through the chet of Adam Rishon, and like the chatoim afterwards, Kayin and Enish, the Ramabel, the Raflaga. So what do? So they remove the Shechina from down over here to the seventh heaven. Now, so the main Shechina was down over here. Through the Chatoim, the Shechina departed. And then the Tzadikim came and they brought back the Shechina. Who were the Tzadikim? It was Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Levi, Kahas, Amram, and Moshe Rabbeinu. Brought down the Shechina down over here. Everyone through his Avodah. Until Moshe Rabbeinu, Shehu Ashvi, which he's the seventh generation, and as we know, B'chol Ashvi and Chavivin, all the seventh are cherished. And they brought from the first heaven down into this world. Shezeu Iker HaAveda. This is the main Aveda. It's to bring the Shekhinah down into this world. So this is all what the Frierdiker Rebbe is explaining from the Medrash, Basi Ligani. The Basi doesn't say Ligan, it says Ligani, that Hashem saying, I came back to the place where I used to be. First, the main Shekhinah was down over here. Through the Chatoim, it was removed. The Tzadikim and Moshe, the main one, brought back the Shekhinah down over here. So once Moshe Rabbeinu brought the Shekhinah, Rabbi Shloimy Greenwald says about the Eibishter, Basi Ligani, I came back to my garden where I was. Zeh Masher Kosev, and this is what the Pasuk in Tehillim, David HaMelech writes, Tzadikim Yishu Oretz, Tzadikim inherit the land, V'yishkenu la'ad aleh, and they bring down la'ad aleh. What does that mean? So, the Frierdiker Rebbe explains, Hainu, Tzadikim amshichim b'china sheikhin ad marnu v'kodesh, Tzadikim bring down the level of, very high, lofty level of sheikhin ad marnu v'kodesh, sheyu b'gil lamata, that this revelation should be revealed down over here. And the Frierdiker Rebbe explains, who ayde avedos and be iskafia. So this is through the aveda of first subduing iskafia, and umisapcha boyim leisapcha, umiskafia boyim leisapcha, and through the aveda of iskafia you come to the level of transformation. Through this of the aveda of iskafia and isapcha, you're able to have the glory of Hashem, the honor of Hashem in all worlds. And as the diak is, istalik daika. What does istalik mean? Shu inyan shal gilei na'ala b'yeser. It's a very high level of revelation. And this is the general inyan of Hashem says, v'shachanti b'seicham, I dwell in them. Sheish b'zeh beis inyanim pirushim v'shachanti. There's two explanations of v'shachanti. Hainu, hamishkin u'mikdash. Either referring to the Mishkan or the Beis HaMikdash, Shesham ha'isa ikar shechina b'tachtenim la'achrei binyan ha'mishkan v'ha'mikdash. After the Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash was built, the main Shekhinah was in those places. U'b'seicham. Now, what does it mean? It doesn't say in it. Grammatically, it should have said v'shachanti b'seichai. What is b'seicham? B'seichel enemar ela b'seicham. B'seichel echad v'echad. What does that mean? So the Frierdiker Rebbe explains, Shayde avidasi nasa bei ashras hashchina. That through the Aveda, you bring the Ashras HaShechina. So in addition to the general Aveda, that you're able to affect V'shachanti Kipshute in the Beis HaMikdash and in the Mikdash. So, in addition to actually being poil, the Shechina, the V'shachanti B'seichim, to be revealed in the Beis HaMikdash and the Mikdash, it also in the person that through the Aveda of Iskafi and Isabcha, you bring V'shachanti B'seicham, that you bring the Shechina into you. This is also one of the reasons why the primary Aveda, one of the primary Avedas in the Beis HaMikdash or the Mishkan was bringing Karbonis. The Pirish Korban hu Hakiduv. What's the idea? The Rabbeinu Bachaya explains in the name of the Zohar, Korban is you're bringing Mat and Maila together. So what we explained, the Rebbe is explaining from the Frierdiker Rebbe that Basi Ligani achesi kala. It means that the Shechina was down over here, and through the Chatoim the Shechina departed. Moshe Rabbeinu brought it down over here into this world. And this is what it means. Tzadikim yirshu oretz v'yishkenu la'adala. That tzadikim bring the level of sheikhin ad marnu v'kodesh. They bring the level of ad marnu v'kodesh. They bring it down into oretz, into this world in a revealed way. How do they do that? This is through the aveda of iskafi and ishapcha. Through that, you have the level of istalak yikara, the kuchabricha. Istalak means it's a revealed way. And this is the general Aveda of V'shachanti B'seicham, in addition to the Beis HaMikdash, which the main Shechina was over there, in the person himself, through the Aveda of Iskafi and Isabcha, one is able to bring the Shechina into him as well. And that's the idea of the Karban. A Karban is that Maloshin of Kidov between Mata and Maila, as the Rabbeinu Bachai explains. Mamshach Ba'amaimer. It's very interesting. The Frierdiker Rebbe says, many in the Mamonim, if you look, Basi Ligani, right? The Isa b'medrash Rabbo, many times he adds the words. I think in the original Maimer, Tashin Yud, it says Bim Koimai. You know the diuk? What's the diuk Bim Koimai? Why does the Frierdiker Rebbe never really brings Mara Mekemis, Bim Koimai? The answer is, Chassidim say that there's two places in the Medrash that it says this word, the Basi Ligani, Achesikala. Now, one of the places, Bim Koimai, what the Frierdiker Rebbe says, it says, Omer Rabbi Menachem. Menachem says, Bos Ligani Achesikala. So the Chassidim say that the Frierdiker Rebbe was referring to Menachem, referring to, even before the Rebbe became Rebbe, was referring to the Rebbe. And that's Deir Shvi. That's the Rebbe's whole Moshe Rabbeinu, to be Mamshech, the Shechina, the Aveda down over here. Okay, Mamshech Ba'amaimer. Now, as we said, so now this was Ois Aleph, basically Aleph and Base, the Rebbe explained. Now the Rebbe is going to go and continue to explain Ois Gimel to Yudalid, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritties of Yudalid. Mamshech Ba'amaimer, the Frierdiker Rebbe is Mamshech in his Maimer. Peta Gimel over there, Sheklolis in Mishkan, what's the general concept of the Mishkan? As it says, Vasisas Akrashim the Mishkan, Atzi Shitim Oimdim. What's the Aveda of the Mishkan? So it says about the Mishkan, in Parshas Truma, Hashem says, you shall make for me Krashim, beams for the Mishkan. Well, these beams should be made out of Atzi Shitim. They should be made out of cedar wood. So the Frierdiker Rebbe explains the Shitim, what's this lashon of Atzi Shitim? So the Frierdiker Rebbe says that Shitim is Melashon Shtus. Shitim comes from the terminology of Shtus, a folly. Now, the Shata Pirusha Netiyah. What is Shitim or Shata? Shata means turning away. Hainu, what does it mean? Setiyah Miderech HaYashar. You're going away from the straight path. Why does a person veer off from the straight path? It's because of the folly of the klippa. As the Gemara in Seita says, a person does not commit an aveda unless a spirit of shtusim, folliness, entered in him. So what's the aveda? The aveda is to transform and make the krashim for the Mishkan. So vasisa as a krashim, the Mishkan atzi shitim, that shitim is meloshin shtus, in adam aveda elam ken nichas beruach shtus, and the aveda is to take the krashim and transform that into the Mishkan. And this is also the nuance of krashim. Now, what's krashim? Krashim means beams, but the kedesh in Hebrew, Kedesh, who oisi is sheker. Kedesh, if you rearrange the words, the letters, it's sheker, which means a lie. It's the exact opposite of truth of Hashem. Hainu, meaning, what does that mean? You have to take the kedesh, the kshadim, the kedesh, the krashim, which is the sheker, and you have to transform that into the Mishkan. Mishkan, the Ikri Mikdash, and Mikdash, the Ikri Mishkan. As the Gemara in Erev in the beginning says, that Mishkan is called Mikdash, and Mikdash is called Mishkan. So when it says Vasisa Sakrash in the Mishkan, doesn't only mean Dafka for the Mishkan, it means the base of Mikdash as well. Behold, Kivin Shavadi, the Sakanas Ashtush Shalamatim and Asechel, since what's the Aveda? The Aveda is to rectify the Shtus, which is below Sechel. In order to rectify the shtus, which comes l'mata ma'aseichel, so what do you have to do? You have to be extreme and have an aveda which is higher than seichel. How do you move on? So this is what the Rebbe says. How do you move on? If you're trying to rectify a shtus which came l'mata ma'aseichel, so one has to have an aveda which is higher than seichel. The aveda has to be higher than tamidas. Now, the Rebbe brings an example. The Frierdiker Rebbe says, like the Rambam says in Hilchos Deis, even though what's the straight path is to go midas beininis, nevertheless, if you're going to be extreme in one way, If you want to go to, if you're very distant from one way, it's not enough to stay in the derech mitzvah. You have to go extreme to the second path. Second extreme. Okay, so we'll stop here. All right, we'll start.